Okay, so here we go. It'd be like this. Okay, once again, 3, 4. Okay, moving up a set of strings. These would be where the notes would be. Okay. 3, 4. Okay, moving up a set of strings, you'd have. Here we go. 3, 4. Okay, and then one more set of strings. Okay, so you've got kind of a linear way of looking at your neck that way when you play octaves, right? But when you connect those little lines up the neck, it sounds pretty good, right? So check that out. I'll mess around with that little idea. Okay, so you can see those little phrases like that. You don't have to go all over the neck to make melodies with octaves because they just sound so cool that you can repeat things like that and kind of build them up, and they just sound really cool and without really involving that many notes of the scale. Okay, and you also tend to play little stacks of notes differently because when you're limited to these kind of shapes, you just sort of put the notes together differently because your technique is changed a little bit. So sometimes you like to do stuff where you play notes together like this. I like to do stuff like that, you know. I wouldn't normally go, I mean, not exactly like that or this shape, you know. But when I'm playing octaves, I might very well play something like that. Because it kind of, you can see right on top of each other where the next octave is going to be. Okay, so that's kind of a fun thing to do. So check that out. 3. I'll go to the next shape. Next one. Okay, so, and then again, we got this. And combine with this. Okay. So, you know, without doing very much in terms of crazy melodies, we're having a lot of fun with these octave shapes because they just have such a great feel to them and a great sound. So, one last thing I might mention is the fact that you kind of tend to sort of slide into the octaves a little bit more because it just sounds stylistically a little more jazzy to do that, and that's kind of what the feel I'm giving you here, right? I'm sliding into notes sometimes. That's kind of a very typical stylistic thing you might use with octaves. So don't forget, sliding into the notes is always going to be kind of maybe into the root, maybe into the fifth, right? And sometimes you can even kind of slide down from a note, right? Right. This is pentatonic, but I'm sliding from the flat 5. We'll talk about that flat 5 in other lessons coming up, but that's a cool note anyway. Okay, so watch all the ways I'll slide down. Last shapes, I haven't used those too much. Let's try it. A little harder to dampen those. Okay, an interesting thing about those octave shapes is that I might employ a little bit more of a pluck pattern, because that way I'm not going over the strings. I'm just plucking the outside notes that I want. So that's a way to keep them cleaner, but the brush stroke of the thumb makes them sound kind of cool too. So depending upon which ones I might use, I might change my technique. I might use the brush stroke with the thumb and then use this. So watch what I do there. Okay, so a lot of different ways to play octaves, but it involves a little bit more finger style techniquing again. Your thumb and your fingers are pretty important there. Okay? So for homework and for practice, I tell you what, just practice playing pentatonic scales in different positions just to get some of the technique together. So you could take the first position that we learned, and you have to move around the shape a little bit more on either side to get to the octaves, but you can do it. So instead of playing, you're going to have to play it like this. Okay? Because there's no way you stay in one position when you have to play the octaves, right? And then you could take another position of it. Maybe down here. It's kind of difficult because then you get the nut there, so you might have to use that one right there. If you were in this position right here, you'd have to do this now. So every position is going to mean that you're going to have to skip around a little bit. But that's okay. That's worth it because they sound so great. Okay, so maybe take a couple of positions and see if you can line them up together and just play up string groupings like this and try to make melodies out of them that way. Okay, so have fun with those octaves, and I'll see you next week. I'm just going to jam out.